Okay, what is up, my big sluts? Yeah, my big.
Nothing is up.
Shut up! I don't talk during your streams like that. What's this V1?
Not the language.
What is this? Okay, I don't care anymore. Um, so something I realized while setting up the stream is that hopefully, and maybe in a positive manner, um, a bunch of the information from the first half of this stream can be turned into a bunch of shorts. Ideally, well before um, the election. So my ballot's in the mail. I know you like penis, okay? It's fine. We're keeping it professional here.
Language.
Shut up. Anyway, what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at the ballot, at least from my area, and then we're gonna use as many non-biased sources as possible to make sure that we're looking for informed decisions. We're not, you know, looking for looking at bad information. We're just trying to make sure we can, make a good informed decision about some shit that's important, which is everything that is down ballot. So we're gonna go ahead and switch over to this screen here. And I'm gonna go ahead and scoot on over to the corner. Chris has advised me that it is past my bedtime. That will not stop me.
But you're an old man.
I'm not talking to you guys in the house, okay? So let me make it so my mouse shows up.
Whoa. That's gonna take you some time.
There we go.
At least 15 minutes.
Well, someone stop being so rude for like a minute, Riley. Okay. So all this shit over here on the left-hand side, like, duh. There's nothing that you can Google because you can't research because there's nothing to look up. Because of the way that this is all decided, like, you're not going to waste your time over here. You're not going to waste your time over here. Same thing with this. You only got one choice. You got one choice. You got one choice. Two choices. We got three. Got one. Always so great to see you. I don't know about the best. Anyway, um, I mean, there's some good pigeons in your life. Just throwing it out there. This is obvious, obvious. But what's important is all the so all the down ballot stuff that doesn't clearly define what party is what because we don't have much of a choice. These are the things that we're going to research and kind of get into. So, the more interesting stuff I think is on the second page here. America. So we're going to read through the language that they provide us, which not always the best language, because I did like kind of skim through this. And we're just going to kind of take it from there. I also pulled up some sources to kind of research. And some of these could be cool. Some of them might not be. So we're going to try and research them too to check before we do any research on them. So that'll be the first step. So step one, or the first option, Ballotpedia, I have used that pretty consistently. I would want to say since 2016. There's a little bit more information. At least it tells you like who the incumbent is. But again, a lot of that stuff's straightforward. So for now, we're going to focus on these ballot measures. So Vote Like a Beast just points you to Ballotpedia. And I double checked that too. So this is where Vote Like a Beast takes you. It's just You're just saving a step just going to Ballotpedia instead. So I was Googling a bunch of other options. So we have votesmart.org. Every day bombard too much information. Started over 30 years ago by Ford and Carter and other political leaders, Republicans, Democrats, Independents. Um, hmm. So, is this supposed to be just facts? Share work free because we're funded by your neighbors. Um, Finances. That's not updated very recently. Let me see if there's anything we can actually tell from this. Said, the question is, how is your hold today? I personally would not like to speak on behalf of your whole, but I know that your whole is important to you. So we're just gonna. That's too much to look at. So to me, this is like a lukewarm, because like you can publish like these finance forms, but if you're not going to explain to people who aren't familiar with them what they are, who maybe don't have a bunch of time to dive into this, you know, that's to me that's not very. What do you mean dry and angry? Ugh. Okay. Moving forward. USA.gov. Decide who to vote for. Who owns this website? Partner with us. Reader blog. About. Mission and history. The official website of the U.S. government. This website is legislatively mandated through Section 204 of the E-Government Act of 2002. God, that is 22 years old. There's a Spanish version. Good God, there have been call centers about this since the 60s. That's frightening. This doesn't, but like, who runs this? Like, what part of the government? Is it a part of the government that goes in and out with the um, different administrations, or is this a long-term position you hold at the government? That's the kind of thing we need to be able to see here. That's a good one. Well, that's the thing is, I should be able to easily click around here and verify that. And I am not. I'm sorry, I just realized I didn't even salt or season these fish sticks. I think the problem's the fish sticks, but you know, you do you. Chat, report an issue. Where's the data come from? I mean, it's kind of upfront about stuff. But like, I just want to know who's responsible for this. So I don't think I'm asking for a whole lot here, too. Unless one of you want to tell me otherwise.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
I'm trying to avoid asking Google directly, especially since Google's not going to be happy with the government, given the anti-monopoly stuff that they're currently going through. but I feel like a good trusted resource, I shouldn't need to have to go that far with it. When I look at the source, something about script.crazyegg.com, those are words. Wonder what crazyegg.com is. So to me, it seems legit, but since I can't prove it or kind of figure out more, to me this is like lukewarm, like a 5 out of 10. What up, hentai baby? It's our favorite hentai ninja, the one and only hentai ninja has come to look at our politics stream. Hooray! Swarthmore.edu. Shut up, Riley. Swarthmore.edu. That provides supposedly good sources. But is this like a website on its own that you would make a voting plan? Resources. You know what? That sounds like the same way I've always been a virgin, the same way I've never had sex. You know? You and I, we are very similar. Okay, they don't actually do anything here that we're looking for. Okay, objection. How? What are you objecting? I don't understand. What's to be objected to? Let's see. Find out what's on your ballot. Blah blah blah. Campaign finance information. It's redirecting to a different website called vote411.org. I don't understand what is so inaccurate. Someone's gonna have to explain that to me in depth. Okay, not what I'm looking for, so we can count this one out too. Arizona Voters Guide. You know what, Scout? You should I feel like so there's this guy I know. Um his name is Adrian Fontes. I'm gonna need you to just hit him up and ask him where your name is. I used to drink with this guy. And you know what? I think he's gonna be more than happy to tell you where your name is, okay? Um Okay, this is just for Ruben versus Carrie Lake. What are her thoughts on the LGBTQ? They kick God out of schools and welcome the drag queens. Hell yeah. Alright, that's not a thing. Okay, that's not what we're looking for either. Researcher ballot? Let me do this not on stream. Let's not dox ourselves for just once and only once. Okay? I'm not going to dox myself every stream relatively. And I'm going to say nothing is important on there either. So we'll start with Ballotpedia and then just keep on keeping on. So, Prop 133. The text that they give us. Where the fuck is 133? There we go. I actually, when I was out working earlier, there is a drag queen wrestling foundation or group, and they are having a wrestling slash um drag thing at Charlie's on the 20th, which is a Sunday. I was invited to go. I'm not sure if I'm free on a Sunday like that, but that's a thing. Carrie get her start from being a Fox News journalist for a decade. She was a local Fox News journalist, which is different from being on the national Fox News. A little bit of a difference there. I'm not sure of a whole lot of a difference, but it is a difference. Okay, so Prop 133. A vote yes shall have the effect of amending the Arizona Constitution to require that when the legislature enacts laws regulating direct primary elections for partisan offices, those laws shall supersede any city law, regulation, or policy to the contrary. The primaries would be conducted in a manner so that each political party represented on the ballot may nominate for each office a number of candidates equal to the number of positions to be filled for that office in the ensuing general election, and requires eligible candidates who are nominated at a primary election to be placed on the next general election ballot. Now, that just sounds like a whole bunch of nonsense to me. They broke it down to bullet points, which I think is helpful. Require partisan primary elections for partisan offices. Prohibit primary elections where all candidates, regardless of political affiliation, run in the same primary election, such as top 2, top 4, and top 5 primaries. What? Prohibit primary elections where all candidates, regardless of political party affiliation, run in the same primary election, such as top 2, top 4, and top 5s. Does that make sense to anybody? No, this is just for primaries. I think this means like as a Democrat, you can't go run in the primary for a Republican or vice versa. Provide that the state's direct primary election law supersedes local charters and ordinances that are inconsistent with that law. So this is so I remember maybe a year and a half ago, there was this thought out there that, to what Riley said, someone could go put themselves on the Republican ticket, for example. A Democrat could go on the Republic ticket. All the Democrats go to um, the Republican primary, vote for the Democrat, and fuck up their process. Um, we actually passed a proposition, I want to say 8 or 12 years ago, that was supposed to make the language simpler. Um, and this is the simplified version, unfortunately. So here's the thing, I I'm a I'm concerned that this could be overstepping, because what if there was an independent who wanted to be on one of these tickets and that was their only way of getting on the ballot in a way that could be taken seriously? I understand the concern, but I think this is an overreach. So personally, I would vote no to this. And cool. Well, let's go ahead and hide my phone number that everyone here already knows. Boop. Okay. Text message received. And I think I can put the screen back on without... Yep. Okay, cool. Okay, so we're just reviewing the ballot. My ballot should be here in like a few days. You cannot vote this way. We still have to do the paper. Okay, 134. Where's that bitch? Okay. Proposed amendment to the Arizona Constitution by the legislature relating to initiatives and referenda. You can check your status on a couple of these random websites that I just Googled. I just Googled like what's on my ballot. A bunch of them will be able to tell you if you're set up for it or not. Okay, so a yes vote shall have the effect of amending the Arizona Constitution to require an applicant wishing to place a statewide measure on the ballot to collect a certain percentage of signatures in each of the 30 legislative districts rather than a percentage of the total number of statewide voters. Signatures from 10% of the voters in each district will be required for a statewide initiative to appear on the ballot. Signatures from 15% of the voters in each district will be required for an amendment to the Constitution to appear on the ballot. Signatures from 5% of the voters in each district will be required for a statewide referendum to appear on the ballot. If a proposed measure does not obtain the minimum percentage of signatures in any one of the 30 legislative districts, it would fail to qualify for the ballot and would not be presented to voters. So, is this an and situation or situation? Let me go through this again. So, measure on the ballot to collect a certain percentage of signatures in each of the 30 districts. So I read that as in you need to go into all 30 to get this whatever percentage instead of... So the way Arizona is built is we have all these different counties. So over here where we live in Maricopa is the most populous, followed by Pima with Tucson, and then it's incredibly smaller after that. So what they're saying is you can't get all of your ballots just from Maricopa, therefore making it harder to get ballots because you need to go to all these buttfuck nowhere places to try to get people to sign petitions, which feels anti-populist to me. So let's keep reading. So, rather than a percentage of the total number, signature from 10% of the voters in each district for it to show up as a statewide initiative. 15% requirement for amendments to the Constitution, and 5% in each district required for statewide referendum. If a proposed measure does not obtain the minimum percent of signatures in any one of the 30, so if you don't get the 10, the 15, or the 5 in all these places, you can't make a change. To me, that's a no. Not that these people don't deserve representation, because they all do. But a lot of these people live out here in the boonies because they just don't give a fuck also. And for it to then go to be on the ballot like this, they still have the power to say no. This just seems to be about making it more difficult to get more of these propositions, these amendments, these referendums onto the ballot, which to me feels undemocratic. If there's enough people in the state, which again, the majority of them being here in Maricopa, if there's enough of them to warrant the rules as is to get on the ballot, that to me is sufficient. I don't think we should be forcing people to need to go to Mojave to fucking try to round up ballot votes. Or Greenlee. What's in Greenlee? Nothing. So, yeah, that's going to be a no for me, dog. Globe, I think, is technically still Maricopa. Greenlee is this tiny little area where there's some old mining towns that people still happen to live in. What I know of people who live like in here or Graham is they just have kids who grow up who just move away from there. That's all it is. I spent a lot of time in the Navajo Nation a couple weeks ago. That would be that's a near impossible feat if you were expected to get all these people as well. That's crazy. And again, to my point, you can still, they can still just vote no on it when when it comes here. There's no reason to just have this be a reason to avoid it. Let's see what these other websites say about the stuff. Okay, so I think yep, okay. Has anyone argued for again? We need to recognize that the counties outside Maricopa matter. This makes sure the other 14 counties matter. Yeah, my point still stands. Even though there's no written down opposition to this, all those people can still just as easily just vote no when it comes to actual ballot. This is effectively going to allow a single partisan legislative district to block the desires of the whole state. Facts. That is also a thing too. So, the more prompts we can get on the ballot, the better. Yeah, because that means you're getting more choice. We want choice, right? So that's gonna be a no for me, dog. I know there's a bunch of like little fuckers like all over this place that are gonna like fuck it up for everyone else. So, and like you can't hold it against these other counties that everyone just happens to live in fucking Phoenix. That's not the majority of the population's fault that everyone else here is just living in buttfuck nowhere. So, fuck that. Okay. 135. Proposition Emergency Declarations Amendment. Let's start with the text on the ballot. By legislative relating to the governor. A yes vote shall have the effect of amending the Arizona Constitution to automatically terminate any emergency powers granted to the governor 30 days after the date the state of emergency was proclaimed, unless the legislature extends the emergency powers granted to the governor or the emergency relates to war, fire, or flood. If the legislature does not extend the emergency, the governor may not declare a new state of emergency arising under the same conditions. Additionally, if requested by at least 1/3 of the members of each house of the legislature, the governor must promptly call a special session for the purposes of terminating or altering the emergency powers granted to the governor during the state of emergency. It is a who asked, but let's look at who the governors have been. So currently we've got Katie Hobbs. Prior to that, there we go, former governors of Arizona. We had fucking Ducey. We had fucking Brewer. Napolitano, I could give or take. Um, Hull is kind of too old for most of us to remember. Um, Honestly, it's kind of been going back and forth, which is kind of crazy. But if we talk about the most recent three, these two have done the most nonsense and bullshit. So if something crazy happened, I would want there to be more checks and balances because unfortunately, these are the people that need those checks and balances done on them. I'm not, and that is not to say that Democrats shouldn't have checks and balances on them as well. But knowing what we know about how these two fuckers have fucked up our state, I'm okay with there being an additional check on the power. The question is, what is the policy now in emergency powers? I mean, I feel like we can also make the argument regardless of what it is, but let's take a look. What are the emergency powers granted to the governor of Arizona in case of, what was it? In a state of emergency. During a state of emergency, a governor has complete authority over all agencies of the state of government and the rights to exercise all powers vested in the state by the Arizona Constitution. Emergency powers of governor. All right, we can look at these three. So this is actually the Arizona state. This is our constitution. Okay. The governor may declare a state of emergency if the governor finds that there exist conditions of disaster, extreme peril to the safety of persons or property within the state caused by air pollution. We have plenty of that. Fire happens, flood, epidemic. We just had one of those. Riot. Who defines that? Earthquake. I don't know, Riley. You're gonna have to just live blinded. I'm sorry. Shut up. All right. Earthquake or other causes are likely to be beyond the control of any single county or municipality. During a state of emergency, governors complete authority over agency of the state government and the right to exercise all police power vested in the state by the Arizona Constitution. So they can use the police to take over any local agencies that they deem appropriate. Additionally, the governor may direct all agencies to utilize and employ personnel, equipment, and facilities for the performance of activities designed to prevent or alleviate actual or threatened damage due to the emergency. The governor may issue an initial proclamation with respect to a state of emergency for public health emergency for up to 30 days. So there's already some 30-day limits already in place here. The governor may extend the state of emergency for public health emergency 30 days at a time for a total of 120 days. The state of emergency for a public health emergency is terminated after 120 days unless the state of emergency is extended by a concurrent resolution of the legislature. So that's our state reps and our state senate, not the ones that go to DC. We have our own separate, reps and senate here. Legislature may extend the state of emergency for a public health emergency as many times as necessary by concurrent resolution up to 30 days at a time. If a state of emergency for a public health emergency is not extended as outlined by statutes, the governor may not proclaim a new state of emergency for a public health emergency based on the same conditions without a concurrent resolution of the legislature consenting to the new state of emergency for public health emergency. Okay, so to the question, it's written here vaguely to the point where I would interpret it that if they wanted to ask Phoenix Police, Chandler Police, Scottsdale Police, whoever, they could choose and have more local municipality police, not just state police. And let's say to see like I don't know, like someone under the clerk, I don't know, just one of these offices. They can just take over the building and just do what is deemed appropriate, such that they can take care of this air pollution, fire, flood, epidemic, riot, earthquake, or other related things. So, what we're extending here is we're not extending. So, if we say yes, we're making it so that the governor, instead of having this power where he can automatically extend a state of emergency up to, what is that, 4 months? He needs to renew and check with the legislature every end of 1 month. It is stricter control. Do we always want stricter control? So if we think of COVID, where, we had Ducey, which I would say didn't use a whole lot of this, is it appropriate that we would want him to renew, or would it at that point maybe nudge him in the direction of not bothering to renew because such a complicated, since this extra level of bureaucracy would be involved, making it more difficult to deal with something like COVID? I mean, we're talking about people already like all the way corrupted though too, generally speaking. During a state of war emergency, governor may suspend the provisions of any statute prescribing procedure for conduct of state business. If the governor determines for compliance strict compliance with provisions such would in any way prevent, hinder, or delay mitigation effects of the emergency. Commandeer and use any property except for firearms or ammunition, or firearms or ammunition components or personal deemed necessary. And therefore shall pay reasonable compensation for property as follows. So they're allowed to just take your shit, but they have to repay you for it, unless it's like firearms or ammo. This just explains how the payback works. If it's a state of war, okay, same thing we already read. Because this is relevant too. State of emergency. Okay, this is still more or less the same. Arizona Attorney General Chris Mays. This looks like it's going. We've got quite a lot more to get through. How's your night going? Let's see. That's just kind of legal back and forth. So, Ballotpedia kind of shrinks it down to, do we want this stuff to terminate within 30 days or not? Let's see what we've got here. Anything for or against it? Arizona Free Enterprise Club. While reforms are necessary, it's crucial to have a mechanism in place now that ensures proper checks and balances at a delegated authority, no matter what current or future statutes on emergency powers look like. The most appropriate place to resolve these fundamental questions of how our government functions and how to employ checks and balances is within the framework of the Constitution. Right now, it's entirely devoid of process for legislature to check executive authority. That's why it's critical that the legislature send blah 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 to the voters. If passed, it answers this question in the Arizona Constitution to restrict the power of the governor during a declared emergency. After a declaration, the governor would be required to call the legislature into special session by the 10th day, and it would automatically terminate after 30 days unless extended by a concurrent resolution of the legislature. What's a POL? I'm not familiar with that. Reality is that once a state emergency is called, it slips quickly from the media minds of the public. However, lasting effects are ongoing, deeply personal. Ah, I got you. I've only ever really watched Hassan, which I don't feel like gives a lot, but I've always been interested in politics, like, um, was it since maybe 2002? Um, and I do think it's important to like down ballot is, the most, regardless of what you think of, everything at the top of the ballot. To me, what I've learned is everything down ballot is sometimes even more important. So it's most important to me to just kind of go over this stuff and maybe make some shorts about it for people. Here's the thing. I don't watch them on Twitch. I watch like the recaps on YouTube. But, is what it is. Let's see. Yeah, it's good that for anybody to do this. Like, we need more of this out here in the world. So, I think we're good with. Hold on, we didn't check all of our free and safe stuff. So, Democrats like it. State senator, our understanding and interpretation is that you do not need to act the state of emergency declaration in order to be able to access a federal disaster. What the fuck? Who is that person? Let's control F that shit. Priya Sundareshan. Also spoke in opposition to the measure, saying, okay, so they're against. What else we got here? Arizona Public Health Association. The recovery phase of emergency response would basically not happen. The flow of money and authority to do the recovery work would have ended. There's no way to get a quorum, and a majority of legislatures keep reauthorizing emergencies, especially when they're not in session. I mean, can't we force the legislature to go back into session to take care of this kind of thing? Because when I try to think of it both sides, like, I understand where this side's coming from in that sometimes emergency powers are needed, especially if the legislature is inaccessible. 1/3 of, where did it say 1/3? Upon presentation bearing signatures of at least 1/3 of each house of the legislation. That is kind of low. Because that's just a guarantee of whatever party is currently available. If they want to keep it going, they can just keep it going. And there doesn't have any language about removing. So, wait, no, hold on. Let me make sure. Terminates an emergency powers granted governor during a student, unless extended. Has to call a special session under presentation petition. So 1/3 of the House of Reps and the Senate House, and I'm sorry, House of Reps and the Senate need to okay the special session first, then it can be voted upon as in regards to extending. And the way that Arizona split kind of 50-50, that shouldn't be hard. Because if there is a true state of emergency, it should not be hard to get people together to do that. When's the last time we had a state of emergency? Arizona had states of emergency. COVID to me is unique in that it impacted everybody. So I'm wondering, outside of COVID, when else have we had states of emergency? So we can have heat state of emergencies. I don't think we had one this year, but I remember the one from last year. And I think that Katie Hobbs used it to try to like provide more water resources, especially to the homeless. Um, which is a good use of power, IMO. But would we want that to be checked to for that to be ended within 30 days, I guess. Where else when else have we had states of emergency? This is 2020, 2022. I want at least one more example of it before, because we have to have had more than the two. Or we need more heat states of emergencies, especially given the way this summer went. Here we go. 2017 state of emergency because of the opioid epidemic, which we've lost a couple friends to. What up, Hootie? Okay, so he did one, his first one. So he only did two. He did COVID and he did one for the opioid epidemic, which technically hasn't ended. Um, so based off of what we read, this was only good for at most 3 or 4 months before it just kind of went away on its own. Which, you know, what did that do for anything? What benefit did that serve? Let me Google this. Background, provisions. Okay, Good Samaritan laws prohibits a person from being criminally charged for the possession or use of a controlled substance or drug paraphernalia or a preparatory offense if the evidence was obtained as a result of a person seeking medical assistance in good faith for an individual experiencing a drug-related overdose. Prohibits a person who experiences a drug-related overdose who is in need of medical assistance and for whom medical assistance is sought from being criminally charged for the possession or use of a controlled substance. So it's okay for you to get medical advice. It's okay for you to help someone going through that stuff. Does not limit the admissibility of evidence. Specifies that the act of seeking medical assistance for an individual who experiences a drug-related overdose can be used as a mitigating factor in a criminal prosecution, so it can be still used against them, just not immediately. Prohibits these groups of doctors from dispensing opioids in violation or something that's deemed unprofessional. So, good and bad in here, lots of pros and cons. Like, this isn't all bad. Like, if someone's having an overdose, why, let's take care of the overdose. We shouldn't be worried about the criminal law at that moment. But unless like we pass something like this long term, this was just short term. So let's see what this website says really quick. Did this one have anything about it? Also, I just realized how quiet it is. YouTube. Let's open that. Right click. Do a focus playlist. It's fucking loud as fuck for me. Yeah, me either. I'm not even seeing it. Womp womp. I mean, I can see it going through the mix. So hopefully you're hearing it. Okay. I gave up on that one website. Okay. This is all national level things. Oh, you're welcome, Riley. Is this only national stuff? All right, let's black out the address one more time here. Two, Phoenix. Okay, so fuck justfacts.votesmart.org. That was a whole lot of nothing. I feel like we should have more than Ballotpedia. You know what I mean? And I don't know, I showed like I'm logged in, so I don't know. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal. I got the headphones on. It's loud enough for me, loud enough for y'all. So it's a big check on power. I feel like we've researched enough. We can go yes. Or I'm voting yes at least. Okay, 136. Let's look at the original text. A yes vote shall have the effect of amending the Arizona Constitution to allow lawsuits regarding the constitutionality of a voter-initiated ballot measure to be filed at least 100 days prior to the election in order to stop the measure from being placed on the official ballot. If a challenged voter-initiated ballot measure were found unconstitutional, the Secretary of State or another officer in charge of elections would be prohibited from placing it on the official ballot. So, also let me check something on this other screen really quick. Oh, yep, it's there. I need to move it. Let's put that down here. See, it moved. Okay, so if something big comes up 100 days before an election, we're saying we will not put it on the ballot, regardless of how important we find it to be, because it hasn't been given enough time to stew. That's how I'm reading and interpreting this. A vote yes supports providing for challenges to initiative measure or constituent amendment after the filing the measure with the Secretary of State. I mean, I don't know why we would want that restriction. It's a proper opportunity to challenge constitutional amendments, which is actually starting to happen a lot more than it used to. What else? Arguments against. This is going to astronomically raise the cost of running these initiatives, and I find it deeply, deeply undemocratic. Yeah, like, I don't want a 100-day limit on being able to, like, challenge things. That's kind of dumb. So, I'm gonna say no. Okay. Prop 137. Let's read it. Proposed amendment to Constitution by legislature relating to the judicial department. So what they're saying here is if something comes up 100 days prior to an election starting, if we want to throw something on our ballot that is voter initiated, um, we are not going to do so. Even if like the Secretary of State decides like it's big and important enough to be warranted to be put on the ballot. That's how I'm reading and interpreting it at least. So as far as based on this language, that's all there is to it. Just something comes up 3 months before an election, you gotta wait till next time. Which, no, if it's that important and it came up, we should go deal with it. Okay, 137. Blah, 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 blah. A yes vote shall have the effect of amending the Constitution to eliminate judicial terms for judges of the Arizona Supreme Court and Court of Appeals and judges of the Superior Court in counties with more than 250,000 people. Voters will no longer have the ability to decide whether to retain those judges at the end of their judicial terms. Those judges would instead be subject to a retention election only if they were convicted of a felony or a crime involving fraud or dishonesty. Were a debtor in a bankruptcy proceeding held a mortgage under foreclosure or did not meet the performance standards according to the Commission on Judicial Performance and Review. House of Representatives and the Senate will each be able to appoint one member to the commission. If any legislature asks the commission to investigate whether a judge has engaged in misconduct, the commission must investigate that allegation. If approved, these amendments will apply retroactively, such that votes cast in November 2024 election about whether to retain a judge will not be given effect. I don't know who asked for this. Like, that's a separate piece of research we can do, but what they're referring to is this section of our thing, the back of page 1. Because I've only ever voted in Arizona, but one of the toughest things I've ever found to do is literally go through all of these lists and figure out who the fuck these people are and whether or not it's worth keeping them. And it's a hassle because sometimes you just don't find anything about these people. Like, I don't know, let me search Arizona Division 51 Michael Mandel. Arizona Division 51 Michael, what was it? Mandel. So we've got a website, we've got Ballotpedia, and we have Capital Times. So we know where he's worked. He was appointed by Ducey to fill a vacancy. But like we don't know. Okay. He was retained in 2020. Here's the thing. I generally will vote. I always vote to oust judges just as a point of making sure we have fresh blood in these things. Because one of the biggest issues we see, especially, again, higher up here on the ballot, is people just being around for too fucking long, being products of the system and no longer caring about the people. So, personally, even if like these people lean the same way I do, I want to vote no in all of them because I want new people. I want people who have more recently been on the ground level where the rest of us are as, constituents and, you know, not having been stuck in this position for so long that they don't know what's what anymore. So, granted, it is kind of annoying, and this is maybe the only pro I can think of, is like going through and having to vote on all these individually. It's a pain in the butt. I don't like that part either. So, because we have a lot of counties too where we don't have 250K in fucking Greenlee again. Yeah, Why are we taking away an option for us to vote for something? That's that's real fucking weird and silly, and I'm not for it. Let me see if so we have former columnist for the Republic. Think an independent judiciary is necessary bulwark for the separation of powers and the rule of law, which is necessary for a free society. And I've always felt that our system of retention election for judges create a huge vulnerability maintaining independent judiciary. For there to be a truly independent judiciary, judges can't fear political accountability for individual decisions that they make in individual cases. There does need to be the ability to influence indirectly over time judicial philosophy. There are differences in that, and the body politic should have the ability to influence the judicial philosophy under which they are governed. But the retention election holds the possibility of seeking to have judges held politically accountable for individual decisions, and that's an attack on the independence of the judiciary. Which, I mean, kind of fuck off, man. Like, should it be a philosophy, or, if someone makes a bad enough call, shouldn't there be a repercussion for that? We also have in favor, judicial retention is not really working. Our judicial retention process is leading to these pallets that are pages and pages and pages. They're like a full third of voters who aren't even voting on judicial retention, which is not a helpful check in our system of checks and balances, which is the point I made earlier. Who's got I mean, I intentionally put time aside before voting time to go through and try to do these searches, but like we did for fucking Michael Mandel, I didn't learn fuck about this guy. Um, I don't know anything. All we know is that people vote him in, but all we can do is just guess that people did so because it was just the yeses closer to the top of the ballot as opposed to the no, maybe at best. So, yeah, so Greenland doesn't even hit that criteria because it's only 9,400 people. It's, yeah, I'm not, it ain't for me, dog. The merit system judicial selection was instituted in Arizona by 74 by civilian initiative. It's upon the ballot and voted for by the people. It's improved and reinforced in the 90s, so we've had this system judicial retention, which is truly the gold standard of the nation. Merit selection process includes a bipartisan commission, which recommends 3 or more justices to the governor to appoint, and then also has a retention system that is a very important part of the whole process. Yeah, we chose to have this. I don't. I get being annoyed that you have to go through all this, but I'd rather go through all this and not have a choice. Have I voted yes for a single one of these? I did for the emergency one. Okay, 138 wages for tipped workers. Let's see what craziness we got here. A yes vote shall have the effect of amending the Arizona Constitution to allow employers to pay employees up to 25% less than the minimum hourly wage if the employer can establish that the employee's wage plus tips or gratuities is at least $2 more than the minimum wage for every hour worked. What the literal fuck, man? Bro. Bro. Let's pay service workers less because they make tips, which are inconsistent. That's fucking crazy. Who let this be on the ballot? This is wild. Who's voting for this? We all know that the restaurant industry is a very small profit industry. If you have a disparity in a forced raise of costs for a business, they will either shut down, limit staff, or make other alternatives. Fuck this guy. He literally has meth in his name. Come on. They're saying that the restaurants need to use the tips that the servers earn to cover their responsibility to pay the worker. The restaurant's not a very good business. Businesses can afford to pay their workers a fair share. And then why does the boss get to take credit for the tip? Because then they get the counted towards. Yeah. I'll let Riley research that because I kind of want to make sure I'm keep getting through this. We've already been streaming for an hour and we've only gotten through 6 of these somehow. So it's a no for me, dog. Right to abortion. Yay. Okay. A yes vote shall have the effect of creating a fundamental right to abortion under Arizona's Constitution. The state will not be able to interfere with this fundamental right before fetal viability unless it has a compelling reason and does so in the least restrictive way possible. Fetal viability means the point in the pregnancy when, in the good faith judgment of a treating healthcare professional, the fetus has a significant likelihood of survival outside of the uterus. Throughout the pregnancy, both before and after fetal viability, the state will not be able to interfere with the good faith judgment of a treating healthcare professional that an abortion is necessary to protect the life and health of the pregnant individual. The state will not be able to penalize any person for aiding or assisting a pregnant individual in exercising the right to an abortion. So, what asshole got to say they're against this? So, in support, people have poured in 23 million here. Arizona's fed up with failing health, donated 5 million. Fairness Project did 4 million. Planned Parenthood did about 2, a little over 2. ACLU did 1.6. Okay. In favor, Katie Hobbs, easy, protect healthcare, yep. Opposition, it goes too far with just shy of 900K in contributions. Who are these people? I think that's a personal limit. That's why there's 2 of them there. Unfortunately, most voters are not told that under this unregulated, unlimited abortion amendment, they will lose the required medical doctor, critical and common sense safety standards for girls and women seeking abortion, and moms and dads will be shut out of their minor daughter's abortion decision, leaving her to go through the painful and scary process alone. I. Someone wrote that down. Okay. Abortion is legal in Arizona up to 15 weeks, which is not long enough. And we have common sense safety precautions to protect girls and women. This reckless use of safety precautions. No, fuck you. Okay. Governor Hobbs and her pro-abortion allies will pour millions into deceiving the voters about the upcoming amendment permits abortion on demand when babies can feel pain and survive outside the womb. Did we not just read? Okay. Must defeat this extreme measure. I've read enough from them. I've had enough there. We are good. Okay. All right. Prop 140. What do we got here? All right. Prop 140. No, I had another yes where we had the 30-day restriction we were talking about. So, a yes vote shall have the effect of allowing all eligible voters to vote for any primary election candidate, regardless of party affiliation, imposing the same signature requirements on all candidates for a given office who wish to appear on the primary ballot, generally prohibiting the use of public funds for political party elections, allowing future law to determine how many candidates advance from the primary elections, as well as the process by which candidates are elected at the general election. And a future law provides that 3 or more candidates may advance to a general election for an office to which one candidate will be elected. Voter ranking shall be used. Okay, so there's some ranked choice here mentioned, kinda. This seems to be in complete opposition. Thank you. I won't forget. To the other one we read. It was one of the first couple ones. Yeah, so we have 2 laws about the same thing. So 133 is about a Democrat getting on a Republican ticket or vice versa. Where here, allowing all eligible voters to vote. So voters can vote for any primary election. So Democrat can go to a Republican primary, vice versa, and same thing applies to Greens, Independents, etc. Imposing the same signature requirements on all candidates for a given office. So regardless of what party you're under, you still have to hit the same minimums to show up on the ballot. So like if the Green Party person doesn't get enough of the votes, they just don't show up. So it is more open, but it could also be more restrictive. Where'd we go? Posing same signature requirements. Generally prohibiting the use of public funds for political party elections. That makes sense. Allowing future law to determine how many candidates advance from primary elections. So that means we could have more than one of each party for, you know, like mayor, county, that kind of thing. Because as you can kind of see here, for the most part, we just have one of each. So again, we can have more options, which is cool. If the future law provides that 3 or more candidates may advance to a general election for an office to which one candidate will be elected, voter ranking. So ranked choice, if it gets complicated, which cool. Replacing partisan primaries with primaries in which candidates, regardless of party affiliation, appear on a single ballot and a certain number advance to general elections, such as top 2 or top 4. Requiring candidates to receive majority of votes in general elections. Requiring use of ranked choice voting in general elections when 3 or more candidates advance. So, yeah, makes sense. I just want to be thorough. So, support, make elections fair, put 7 million towards this. I don't think I've even heard of this before today. So I would love to know where the marketing budget went for this ballot. Open primaries now, and then some people. Has been hijacked by 2 extreme parties. Yep. Former mayor. If you stand up amongst your party, you get primaried. Yeah. Who's against this? No one's putting any money against it. Republicans don't want Democrats voting for our primary candidates. I'm sure Democrats don't want us voting. Shut up. This new candidate selection scheme would be an addition to the fact that their measure will result in some races where candidates from only one political party appear in the general election ballot, depriving choice. I don't quite agree with. We're giving more choices and we're getting ring choice. So, and I really like this song. I'm glad it came on this playlist. So yeah, that's a yes. All right, what are we looking at next? 311. Embers the color of your energy. Whoa. The closest multi-party we can get. Yeah. All right, 311. The ember is the color of your energy proposition. referred to the people by legislature relating to first responders. Vote yes shall have the effect of requiring the state of Arizona to pay $250,000, which would be referred to as a state death benefit to the surviving spouse or children of the first responder killed in the line of duty, creating a state supplemental benefit fund to pay the state death benefit, increasing criminal punishments for aggravated assaults against peace officers and other first responders, and require a $20 penalty fee be imposed on every criminal conviction to fund the state supplemental benefit fund. The state death benefit, $20 penalty fee, and increased criminal punishment for aggravated assaults would expire in 2033. What the literal fuck? Like, I get it, but I don't. Okay, let's read. So, yes, $20 fee for every conviction, and that goes to pay the $250,000 that goes to the spouse or children of first responder who's killed. What is in mind here is a cop. This can apply to like an EMT, some type of medical person too, and or a firefighter. If I need more, what's defined as killed in the line of duty? So is a firefighter who dies in a fire killed in the line of duty? I would. I would go. I wouldn't want to do Panda. My little brother worked at Taco Bell, so and he had a bad time. So gut reaction, there's no. So I guess I would have to go Chipotle. That's Man, that's really picking. I don't know, dude. But yeah, I guess Chipotle. Um. So Back to Blue has put 131K towards this. Liberty Initiative Fund and Morning in Arizona. The 250 can go a long way to helping our families of the victims of crime, certainly when there are police officers or responders are sworn to defend and protect us. They're not legally required to defend or protect us and don't necessarily always do that. And then I do have a problem with this bill, and that is that it creates another fine that is disproportionate to certain members of our population. And it would be a preferable option to me if we were to pay that the death benefit directly out of general fund to the family of the firefighter or police officer who was killed, and not do any more fines in our legal system. I can kind of get behind that part of it. I'm not like, to me, the ideal, not ideal, there's not an ideal way for someone to die, especially at work. And it's not as if they don't already have some benefits. When you work for the state, you have, it's because I worked at Kroger's in the beginning of COVID and I was considered a first responder. But if you died in the line of duty while at Kroger's because of COVID, you wouldn't get this benefit in that situation. Because even though you're a first responder, you're not working for the state. Because I would love it, again, not that I would want you to die, but if you were considered a first responder working at a grocery store and you died because of COVID, I would love for your family to get $250,000 because of that. Um, mm, what are what are the state benefits for Arizona firefighters? Let's start there. Okay, so if they have a retirement fund, that's already a chunk of money that is going to family, PTO. They get medical, dental, life. I pray to God that they have life on there. Tuition reimbursement, education, military leave, counseling, workers' comp, transit, Northwest Fire District. So they have a medical plan, they have a dental vision, they have life insurance. employer sponsored, so they already have the equivalent of a life policy. Basic term life insurance paid by your employer. If you're full time, so currently they get 50K if they die already. I mean, that's definitely not what they were thinking about when they wrote this. I agree that teachers should be a part of this, but um accelerated death benefit for term illness. So there are this is actually what I do for work. Waiver premium and conversion. Okay. Um so right off the bat, they die, they're gonna get 50K. So what we want to give them an extra 250? Not that I'm against people getting money, but let's keep looking at this. Short-term disability, workers' comp, PTO, accidental death and disability through the Hartford. So on top of the 50K if they die from off of the life insurance, they get another 50K for dying here too. Then these aren't line of duty things, but accidental death and dismemberment could be a part of it. Depends on how much, the insurance agency is going to fight them for it. Employee assistance programs, retirement benefits. What is their match? I would love to know what their match is. Oh, look, they can't go to their retirement plan. That's cool. Public safety personal retirement system. Members only? Who is this through? Do we not have like a bigger like Fidelity or Voya on this? 'Cause that's crazy. This is just self-ran? Is this pointing towards any other websites? That's wild. Most states go to a third party because then I don't know, but they have to pay for whatever. Okay. So they already get if they died in the line of fire, they get 100K through the benefits they already have when it comes to firefighters. So now we have to do the same thing for police officers. Benefits. Medical, dental, vision, life insurance, disability, flexible spending. Sworn is its own thing. I think we could like try to get a ballot saying that teachers should be considered first responders too, maybe. The fuck, seriously, this isn't the same program? That's wild. That's fucking crazy. I mean, we don't have a coast. So, right? I feel like I have to check that. Does Arizona have a Coast Guard? What do you mean we have a Coast Guard? We don't have a coast. Well, okay, we're part of a bigger district that includes California. Okay. I guess that makes up. Hey Robin, how you doing today? Tonight? It's more of a night. It doesn't feel right that we're just lumped in with Arizona because these are deserts, you know? Well, no one in the state likes teachers. Okay, so we're looking for the details on these benefits. So we know a firefighter is getting 100K off the bat. New Mexico is probably closer to Texas, so they would be in that district, I would assume. What's this thing say? Dental, vision, medical. They have an FSA. So for police, police, security and financial, 15K plus accidental death dismember at 15, seatbelt benefit. Okay, so firefighter dies in the line of duty, 100K. Let's say we assume there's a shootout for a cop. Yeah, we're chilling. We're just going over our ballots in Arizona here. So for a cop, 15 plus 15. I'm assuming shootout, they don't have to wear a seatbelt during it. And then extra K for not smoking. Increments of 5K, not to exceed 3 times annual salary. Cost per 5K of coverage. So firefighters' life insurance is paid for by the state, but not police. So it's optional. So let's assume they're like in this 30 range. And let's say they want to be equal to a firefighter. So let's say they want 50K. So 50K times is 16 cents. That is a $8,000. So it would be 10. So it would be $1.60 for them to get 50K of coverage, which 80 if they don't smoke. So let's say they do the extra 20K. So they already have. Well, here's the thing. So, well, when did I switch to angry mode? There we go. Got rid of it. That's the sus mode. Smiling? There we go. Normal. Okay. So, 311. Again, color is amber is the color of your energy. So if a first responder dies in a line of duty, this yes vote gives the family an extra $250,000. And if someone is criminally convicted, we're throwing another $20 fee at them. Which, how the fuck is that going to pay for that? That's only, so $20 over 250K, 2 over 125, 12,005. This doesn't add up, man. The math is not mathing for me. So where we in this house stand on political considerations, I think it's too much. And I think, won't that mean more arrests to make up the money? That could, yes, that could easily mean intentionally trying to arrest more people to make up for this deficit. If the people in charge of the police force know this and are trying to fill up this gap. Riley, so, yeah, it's a no for me, dog. I think there's better ways to do this, and to Riley's point, I think teachers need to be included in this definition or just added. And I think that could easily be more warranted. Because we already pay our teachers, I believe, the worst in the country anyway. Just, yeah, all sorts of no. Look, we have lots of broken couches in this house, and I'm not going to say it's all Riley's fault, but Riley was around every time they broke. All right, moving on to Prop 312. Refer to the people by the legislature relating to property tax. So you have to own a house to care, relatively speaking. A yes vote shall have the effect of establishing the right to apply for a refund from a property's owners. hold on. Establishing the right to apply for a refund from a property owner's most recent property tax payment up to an amount that matches cost incurred by the property owner to mitigate the effects of a governing authority's repeated failure to enforce laws and ordinances prohibiting illegal camping, loitering, obstructing public thoroughfares, panhandling, public urination or defecation. So this is anti-homeless? So if a property owner pays taxes, they can get that tax money back if they're pissed about the homeless people that live anywhere near them, is how I'm reading this. If the documented costs exceed the amount of the most recent property tax bill, property owner would be permitted to apply for a refund from their next property tax payment to cover the balance of the initial claim. Property owners would be eligible annually for refunds until the taxing entity begins enforcing the relevant public nuisance laws. So, I don't think Google's going to be able to answer this for me. How many properties in Arizona are owned by investment firms? In Arizona, an estimated 26% of residential properties are owned by investors or are seasonal, which is about 376K. In Phoenix, about 1 in 5 single-family rental homes are owned by large corporations. Arizona is a popular location for out-of-state property investors, with 42% of properties owned by people outside of the state. California and Washington are top states for out-of-state owners. Some legislations have introduced bills to address the challenges posed by the corporate investors. So a quarter of the owned properties are not owned by people who live here, part one. And then for the remaining 3/4, the remaining 3/4, they can get money back if the police don't enforce laws relating to homelessness. So, thank you for beating me to that, Riley. All right. How is this even to be enforced? What determines? Yeah, it's, just part of the game. But like, how is this even enforceable? Who determines if dealing with people who are homeless is sufficient to warrant property taxes to be returned? This is somewhere where, to me, the bill needs to be more specific in its text to justify. And even then, I am iffy at best about trying to justify something like this. Because, I don't know, this is a slippery slope in my opinion. This is going to, just because a property owner doesn't like where their tax money is going doesn't mean they get to decide they get their money back. Who is supporting this? Some NIMBY motherfuckers. We all know homelessness has been overtaking once beautiful cities all over this country. What it really boils down to is when we have citizens who break laws, government has a lot of tools to go after citizens that don't follow the law. But when government doesn't follow the law or enforce the law, our citizens are limited in what they can do. Where the fuck is that logic? What the fuck? Goldwater Institute, great. Arizona's can't trust the government to address rampant homelessness. Saw this firsthand in the zone in Phoenix, where law and order gave way to death and destruction. It was not all death and destruction in the zone. That is, you never were in that area. Promise you that. Arizonans have had enough when it comes to lawlessness and city inaction. Business owners and residents alike are having their properties stolen, vandalized, or terrorized, and are desperate for help. They want to hold local governments accountable to their community members. They'll provide some relief for property owners who have suffered damages. Dude. These fucking hogs. If we have living cages, hey, there's a thought. There's a valid. Maybe if we actually had citizens who break laws, government has a lot of tools to go after citizens that don't follow the law. But when government doesn't follow the law and force, our citizens are limited. Government needs to have the ability, and people who experience homelessness need tools and resources, which we don't have. You're just kicking the rock down the street. These people don't have anywhere to go. You know, if you're not happy about them being in your backyard, getting your money back isn't fixing the problem either. Like this doesn't fix anything. This takes money away from the state, which can then use the money for social services to try to help fix and resolve the problem. Skills and put cities in an impossible legal position instead of addressing the problems. Just, yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's go ahead and nod that. That's crazy. Yeah, you're good, Riley. All right, 313. I think we're near the tail end of this. Actually, let's go ahead and Duolingo real fast here. I don't know who that person is. All right, Espanol, let's go, baby. Let's strengthen your weakest grammar concepts.
Siempre me siento
cansado. I am a Spanish-speaking pigeon. What do you mean by Maricopa and Phoenix?
Sara, ¿por qué te sientes triste?
Sara, ¿por qué te sientes triste? This is my actual ballot. So some of the stuff is Maricopa County. I think that's the 400s. The 300s is, I don't know, something. And then the 100s is for the state constitution. So I think so. And then I only have two more at the top here. Prop 488 and 489, which we'll get to at the end. On Sundays, los domingos, I don't shower. Not for me. All right, sometimes I get up at 11. Let's see. I put on this coat every day. Todos. Yo me pongo este abrigo. No, there's a different word for every, isn't there? Cada. I'm putting on a blue shirt. Me pongo. I'm putting on me una camisa
azul.
I feel tired today.
Me siento cansada. Hoy.
Do you feel happy?
Te
sientes. What's happy you, Feliz?
Feliz.
José, tú siempre te duchas en la noche.
Jose, you always shower at night.
Siempre me levanto a las 7:30.
I always levanto clean. No? I always levanto... Oh, get up. I always get up at 6:30.
Dúo nunca se siente cansado.
That was fast.
Dúo nunca se siente cansado. Cansado. El señor Pérez a veces se ducha en el hotel. Pérez.
El señor Pérez, what?
El señor Pérez a veces se ducha en el hotel.
A
veces
se
ducha en el hotel.
I always get up early. Siempre me levanto. Tardy is late. What's early? That is not the word I'm looking for. ¿Cómo se dice early? Temprano? Switch, motherfucker. English. There. Early. Temprano. Yep, temprano. Temprano?
Usualmente me pongo este
vestido.
vestido.
Cool. What day are we on for the streak? We are on 892 days, sort of straight. All right, back to our ballot. Okay, so homelessness, if the documented. Okay, yeah, we that was a no. So now we're up to sex trafficking. 313. A vote yes shall have the effect of eliminating the current sentencing ranges for a Class 2 child sex trafficking conviction. The sentence for a person convicted of a Class 2 felony for child sex trafficking would be imprisonment for natural life without the possibility of release. Okay. What is it currently? Shall have the effect of maintaining current sentence range between 7 years and natural life, imprisonment without the possibility of release, depending on the age of the victim, the defendant's criminal history, and other factors. So they're removing these other factors, and it's just life. But do we always get convictions correct? Are we willing to have a person be put into the prison system for these reasons? Okay, so we're sending a strong message here in Arizona that our children are not for sale, not now, not ever. Wow, what a politician. Okay, this is something that the experts in sex trafficking know. It happens that there are victims who are used to coerce other victims into the trade. Oh, that is a harsh reality, and we do not want those minors who have been severely traumatized locked up because of this bill. It is pretty overreaching. That's a bummer about your last name there, Senator Epstein. This would send teenagers to prison for life. It could be fixed to not harm the victims. Instead, we have a very extreme version that could send teenagers to prison for life who have already been sex trafficked themselves. They are the victims of this crime. They have been coerced and they are teenagers, and this would be sending them to prison themselves. Yeah, it's overreaching. I'm not against sex traffickers dealing with any level of circumstance, but yeah, that's a no. Rehabilitation is a thing that we don't really do or see a whole lot of in this country. And I don't know, it's overreaching. It's too much. And it doesn't allow room for anything. Like, meaning like these circumstances where they described where sex trafficked kids get other kids sex trafficked. That's not fair. That's not their fault. Okay. Immigrant border law enforcement. Fuck. Here we go. A yes vote shall have the effect of creating new crimes regarding the following conduct by any person not lawfully present in the United States. 1. Applying for a public benefit by submitting a false document. 2. Submitting false information to employer regarding the person's authorization to work in the United States. 3. Entering Arizona from a foreign country at any location other than a lawful port of entry. 4. Refusing to comply with a court order to return to the person's country of origin or entry. Also, creates a new crime of selling fentanyl that causes the death of another person. Fentanyl doesn't get sold by people. Okay. Requires state courts to issue an order to return to a foreign country if a person is convicted of the illegal entry crime. The order to return must include an authorization allowing state and local law enforcement to transport the person. No. Fuck off. No. Who is supporting this? No one's putting money towards it. Carrie Lake, Ken Bennett, Ben Toma. Heritage Action for America. Open border policy of allowed 10 men. Okay. I've already read enough there. San Luis mayor, who is San Luis is one of the border cities. Katie Hobbs, Gallego. The Roman Catholic Diocese of Phoenix. Catholic Bishops of Arizona. Yeah. All right. I don't like being on the same side as Catholic priests, but 315. A yes vote shall have the effect of requiring. Oh yeah, I had music. The effect of requiring state agencies to submit any proposed rule that is estimated to increase regulatory costs by more than 100K within 5 years. I need it. Okay. Have the effect of requiring state agencies to submit any proposed rule that's estimated to increase regulatory costs by more than 100K within 5 years after implementation to the Office of Economic Opportunity for review. If the Office of Economic Opportunity determines that the proposed rule is estimated to increase regulatory costs more than 500K within 5 years after implementation, the proposed rule shall not become effective unless the legislature enacts legislation ratifying the proposed rule. The Corporation Commission and emergency rules are exempt from this. Bro. Who is writing this shit? There's no data about who's for or against it. That's sick. All right. Yeah. I lost brain cells reading it. So if you make a change to a state agency that increase costs to run the state agency, that will cost more than 100K within 5 years of implementation, you need to send it to the Office of Economic Opportunity to check off on it. And if the Office of Economic Opportunity determines that the proposed rule is going to cost more than $500,000 within 5 years after implementation, the legislature has to vote on it. So by hitting this first check mark, the 100K, you're throwing in more bureaucracy to try to prevent it. There is Ballotpedia arguments against it. This measure is one of those insidious legislative ballot referrals that makes superficial sense, but in practice will create enormous obstacles for reforming government programs such as the runaway spending of annual ESA voucher program. All right. Yeah, this does add bureaucracy. Protect our seniors, vote no. Impedes governance of critical sectors, especially healthcare. Okay. Who's voting for this thing? Here we go. About restoring principles of representative democracy returns legislative power to legislature. Americans for Prosperity. So they're arguing it's more checks and balances, but it is also clearly something to, like, if something big came up that needed to make a quick change. I don't know, 64,000 regulatory restrictions. Why is someone from Tallahassee writing on this? Yeah, nah. Usually. Okay. Prop 487 expenditure. What? 487. Almost done, y'all. Relating to county transportation excise sales tax. Do you favor the continuation of a county transaction privilege tax for regional transportation purposes in Maricopa County? Yes vote has the effect of continuing the transaction privilege tax in Maricopa County for 20 years to provide funding for transportation projects as containing the regional strategic transportation infrastructure. So are we adding a tax? Is this one not in my thing? 479. I don't see 479 on here. Federal, blah, 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 state, local. Okay, so even Ballotpedia has nothing on this. So we're just raw dogging Google here. Arizona Proposition 479. Maricopa Association of Governments. So 12 News, that's our NBC affiliate. Republic is our bigger paper. Axios, that's usually a little right-leaning. But whatever, at this point, just need information. PBS. As someone who has family that relies on public transportation, let's read here. Is a continuation of existing dedicated half-cent sales tax in Maricopa County to fund transportation. This dedicated half-cent sales tax was first established by voters in 85. The approval of Proposition 300, subsequently renewed in 04 for Prop 400. It's an extension on the 2024 ballot to yes, gets us till 2045. 20-year continuations meant to generate 14.9 billion in money. So it's something that's already here. So if you vote no, we're removing this half-cent tax. Wait, what? The greater Phoenix region is one of the best average commute times of larger cities in the US? Is that? Says who? With continued funding, the planned projects include an investment plan projected to keep this 30-minute average commute length in 2050. If anything, I think this could go to a whole cent at least. I don't know why we're only at half a cent here. Reduce the average afternoon commute by a third. Reduce congestion by 51,000 hours. Increase the number of anemones within 30-minute drive by 12%. Create 2.4 billion in net new economic activity per year. Save local businesses money. Create jobs. So who's against this? We've had no issues propping this up so far. Blah, blah, blah. Another version gave incorrect information. Okay. I hate our freeways. Fuck. Alright. Extending state routes, something. Queen Creek, can I get more roads? Those are all in the middle of fucking nowhere. Chandler gets an extension on Loop 202. Scottsdale Road revamp? Do we really need to? Scottsdale Road is already some of the most expensive properties we have. Tempe gets more buses. Alright, fuck you, Axios. We not even tax more. It's the same tax we've already been paying. I'm just trying to see who's against it. Why did this even... I think this only came up because we had a term limit on it. Money doesn't split evenly. It goes to different projects. Okay. 40% dollar ride, but also transit. That means buses, dollar ride. Light rail gets some funding, which is good. Yeah, there's no reason not to continue it, I guess. If anything, I want to take more money. That's my only idea. Let's go to a full cent. Oh, maybe I can let's do this. Let's see if this is a URL I can go to. Nope. How about that? Early voting, general, blah, blah, blah. Candidate information. Adrian wants people to vote early. Good for him. Voter reg, address, trademark, media center. Blah, 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 blah. So somewhere on this website, they keep the documents for administration fellowship, contact. Election information. I guess let's try circulators. I'm saying no to, well, SOS. Arizona prop. What is the prop again? 479. Against arguments. I'm just, again, just curious here. Oh, right. Can't use the number pad. There's a portal for submitting arguments. Yeah. Okay. Cool. We're just voting for that one. That one's not even on this list. Prop 479 Arizona? Eh? All right, while that's doing that, we'll just keep going. 486. Shall the base expenditure limit of the Maricopa County Community College District established in fiscal year 1979-80 be permanently adjusted to 52.8 million? How much is it now? Yes, shall have the effect of permanently adjusting it, which is the same amount since 1980. A no of the effect of not permanently adjusting it to that limit. But what would it go to? What? What? Hold on. Because I want to give the community college more money. That's a net positive right there. June through 19 years and vote in favor of blah blah blah, which established an annual expenditure limit in the state to restrict how much community college can spend, even if funding is available. So even if they have money exceeding this dollar amount, they can't spend more than this 52.8. Why? Why wouldn't we want them to be able to spend more? Governing board approve or assume forward a ballot, not a request for additional funds. Yeah, I'm concerned it's too little. And so what is this dollar amount in 1980 money to 2024 money? $1980 money, 1980 USD to 2024 USD. That is nearly 4 times. That didn't copy quite the way I wanted it to. Nope, okay, but that is it. So if adjusted for inflation, this number would be $201 million. So why are we holding our fucking schools back? That's... What? Says that they do account for inflation, but like... So it doesn't raise taxes, right? Doesn't say anything about that. Permanently adjusting the base on which the expenditure limit is calculated allows the colleges to continue supporting students. If not, they have to cut up money. This is such a weird thing. I really hate how this is worded too. Because thinks it's benefits from keeping. I mean, we're number 50 right now for a reason. It's just some animal collective bullshit. Nope, goth babe. Oh, is Puerto Rico beating us? So they're saying yes, but we need something else on the books to just... Why even have this limit? Why? I don't know. I'm getting caught up in that. Okay. If the schools are saying yes because they get more money, then I'm voting yes with it. That's all I can think of. I don't care for Goth Babe too much. Okay. I've heard a lot about it. Seems like a very, yeah, it is an easy yes. All right. What we got next? Okay, we got 2 at the top here. So 487, which is not the thing I clicked on, but whatever. Okay. So shall the alternative expenditure limitation set forth in fitting council number blah 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 be adopted as part of the local expenditure control program? Shall the effect of continuing local control by allowing the mayor and city council by majority vote and after obtaining community input on the proposed spending plan to establish a local expenditure limitation. What? So this just lets the city council and mayor agree that or not agree that money needs to be spent. Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's why we vote for them. But it's just going to go back and forth depending on what party's in power at that point. Okay, next. Proposed ratification of the city Phoenix general plan. Does not change any current land use zoning. Shall City Phoenix general plan as set forth in resolution 22-191 adopted by City Phoenix be approved? Is yours as messy as this? Because I have to go find other paperwork to be able to answer this one. That's not even the number I looked up, man. Phoenix. Establishing the form of the ballot for the city. Oh my god. What the fuck even is this? Locally controlled alternative expenditure limitation. I mean, at least it's just 3. But, man, we really need better plain language for some of these things. Continue to existing locally controlled alternative expenditure limitation allowed by Article 9, Section approved to keep the annual expenditure limitation equal to City Council adopted budget for the next 4 years. Constitutional and previously authorized voter exclusion shall continue to apply. The yes vote shall have the effect of continuing local control. No, have the effect of the city operating under state imposed expenditure limitation. So results in an estimated 2.1 billion reduction. So if you want to be fiscally conservative, you would say no. All right, I think I don't even I wish I don't know how to feel more confident about this, if at all. This is crazy that it's this complex. Okay. Does this give us any other? No, just all right. That sounds like something I want to agree with. All right, last one. And from what I previewed earlier, it's a very simple one. Proposal by the Citizens Commission on Salaries for Elected Officials. Mayor salary at 103.8K per year, and council member salary at 77K per year. I kind of want to know what it's at currently. It looks like we've not changed it since 2005, so that's 20 years of the same salary. How much does was that Phoenix? It's Phoenix, right? Riley wrote this up there somewhere. 480 something. Fuck. 480. Okay, this is Phoenix specific. Okay. So how much does the city of Phoenix mayor make annually? What? Currently they make... Wow. DC mayor only makes 61K? Wait, how much is our mayor making then? 53.5. That is... We're supposedly in the middle. I mean, they make money other ways, right? I don't know, man. So let's take this number. Blah. Divided by 52 weeks, divided by 40 hours a week, assuming they work that much. They make $25.76 an hour to be mayor. And they want to raise, increasing that to, where'd the dollar amount go? To 100, mayor up to 103. That's almost double. That's an extra 50K. Okay, what was that? 103,840 divided by 52 weeks a year, divided by 40 hours a week. So yeah, they want to double their salary for the mayor. What's the other one? Council member. How much does a City of Phoenix council member get paid? Okay, this is just different altogether. But NPR is a little bit more reliable. So it says here the mayor is currently making 88K, so it'd be less of a jump. And 61.6K. I know that's about $30 an hour. I mean, 61K was a lot in 2006, wasn't it? USG 2006 to 2024. We're back to this one. So what is the 88K? So if that 88K had kept up for inflation, it'd be at 137. They're only asking to go up to 103. What's that average? 137 plus 88 divided by 2. So it's not even, they're not even meeting in the middle, like they're going under that if this had kept up for inflation. Okay. I like the idea of paying elected officials more for the idea that they can be less influenced by people giving them money to influence them further. Like, hey, I don't need your bribe money. I get paid enough to just do this. What was the other one? 61.6. So this is similar. A political subdivision, I'm assuming, is like, so for us, that is Arizona, District 1. So you see like this weird ass shape we have here? This is our District 1. And then if I do like the 2nd Congressional District, that's that whole thing. So it's probably, you're probably being asked to change like the zones that people live in, or what's counted as a district. So when you see people, when you think of the word gerrymandering, this is more than likely what they're talking about. Is that, Hold on, I need to hide this for a second. Where I can do this. Transition for a second. Okay. I thought someone was maybe sharing their location with me who shouldn't be. Okay, so the question is, provides for a general law statewide homestead exemption that may differentiate among political. Bro, what is that sentence? Provides for a general law statewide homestead exemption. So it's a tax exemption based on where you live. So if you live somewhere that, I don't know, is deemed to be more poverty stricken, maybe they would give you more exemptions. Or when you file your taxes so that you get a bigger refund is the idealized version of this, I believe. Kind of guessing here, unfortunately. But that's how I interpret what you copy and pasted, at least. There's a lot of write-in candidates, and not one of them is Scout. Yasmin. Corporate Commission. Yeah. Like these are the types of things where you want to go to, like, where the public can comment on things and be like, yo, this needs to be clarified better. This is fucked, you know? 2 seats. Nonpartisan, apparently. Oh, so we have to look at the goddamn judges now. Or we can just flat vote no across every judge. Justice of the Supreme Court, Clint Ballot. What do we know about this man's? Except for he's as old as my parents. That's a smile? That's oof energy right there. Okay. He was put in place in 2016, so he's picked by Ducey. And in 2018, we've decided to keep him. Prior to joining the court, he litigated constitutional cases in state federal courts from coast to coast, including U.S. Supreme Court. Among other positions, served as vice president for litigation at the Goldwater Institute and as co-founder and vice president for litigation at the Institute for Justice. He has litigated in support of school choice, private property rights, freedom of speech, federalism, and against racial classifications and government subsidies. He didn't even grow up here. Okay, that's gonna be a no for me, dog. All right. Catherine H. King. Are people can we not let these people get, like, professional whatever? Born and raised in Arizona, was appointed to serve in 2021, which is, I want to say, near the end of the Ducey time. Who was July 2021? July 2021 governor of Arizona. Yeah, that's a Ducey pick. She practiced in areas of labor and employment law and commercial litigation versus attorney at Snell Wilmer and later Burns Barden. Also worked as Deputy General Counsel in the Office of Governor Ducey, where she advised on various constitutional. Okay, so she worked with Ducey, who's a douche. We don't want this. Done. Easy peasy. He co-founded the Libertarian Institute for Justice. Oh, all right. I've read enough about this man's. Angela K. Patton. Angela K. Patton, Arizona. Okay. Began service on Arizona Court of Appeals, Division 1 in November 2021. Served as a judicial law clerk to Arizona Court of Appeals Judge Patrick Irvine. Spent most of her legal career at the Attorney General Office, serving as Special Assistant Attorney General, Assistant Solicitor General, Assistant General, Assistant Attorney General. Representing the state in appellate matters before the state's highest court. Service on the drafting of Attorney General opinions. Ethics. Patton also spent approximately 5 years advisory to Corporate Commissioner Bob Burns. From here. President of the Women Law Students Association. It's another Ducey appointee. We've never voted for her before. There's just nothing. See, this is what is not cool, is just not having information. If I inspect this, can I find a way to read this article? Let's just control U it. Nope, they hid it in the source. Cool. Alright, I stopped giving a fuck. Angela K. Patton. That I don't. I kind of have to go back to what I said earlier. Like, fuck them if they're staying. Catherine Hackett King, fuck you. Nope. These other people, just no. Water Conservatory, is that even on mine? It is. Hold on. Which of these are other mysteries besides the judges? Phoenix Union High School District, School Governing Board. That's Central Arizona Water Conservation. See, when they say nonpartisan, I don't trust it. Otherwise, everything you just vote. I hate this 50-50. I really fucking do. Like, why don't Democrats even have someone up for county treasurer? What is? How's Kate Gallego nonpartisan? I hate it. Alright. What time is it? 12:17? 12.5 hours of looking at politics. Yay. Yeah, all these judges, I'm just voting to kick. I don't care. 9 times out of 10, other people don't care enough, but I'm voting to boot. I just don't have enough information about these people. And if I click on Christopher Wooden, for example, no data available. Got nothing. Is the thing frozen? Okay, so what about we have a picture for Lisa Wallen. No information. What about who else has a picture? Michael Valenzuela. Nothing. Okay, Michael Valenzuela, that is not a name I'm gonna find by Googling, is it? Please let me click on stuff. You're really gonna make it harder for me to try to Google this guy? Okay, Maricopa County Superior Court. Michael Valenzuela. We got a biography, a judicial profile, Ballotpedia, and LinkedIn. Biography comes from Family Court, Southeast Facility in Mesa. He's part of the Hispanic National Bar Association. He is a Latino. As am I. Not trying to say that in a negative way, but like... What in the literal fuck? I don't... Unless I want to start pulling cases. There should be mandatory data. And like this is coming from my county. Like I should know how they are voting on things so I can know what they do, what they care about, how they function or work. Okay, here's... Nope, this is just about like if he's your judge, what to be aware of. I don't... Okay, nothing. Same thing here again. Nothing except for that. Started in 2022, was preceded by that person, and he was appointed. Contact information. He's never posted. Prior to this, he worked at the AG office. Before that, he worked with DES in child safety cases. Top lawyers under 40 in 2018. I know nothing of this man. Hmm. This is crazy. I'm voting on this man keeping his job, and I don't know anything about him. I think this is all the people, too. Jay Adelman. I don't see Adelman on here. Yeah, and my vibes is kick them all off. Agni? Some of these people are not even on this list. I don't want to vote on vibes. This is dumb. This is why when we were looking at um which one was it? There was one of these propositions was about this. This one, no. Fuck, we've looked at so many of these things. Um, Let me just control F judge really quick. This one, 137. So this was to remove the judge list and like someone else oversees it. And it should be nonpartisan, which takes choice away from us. But like what choice do we have if I don't know shit about Joseph P. Mikadish? This is ridiculous, man. This does nothing. Bro, don't. You can leave them blank. Appointed as judge, she served on rotations, family criminal civil division. Practiced law for 21 years. Maggie's Place, that's a pro-life organization that hides the fact that they're pro-life by saying they provide homes and support for homeless pregnant women. So I don't trust. But if I didn't find that, I wouldn't know to vote against him. Oh my fucking god. So we have to do that for all these. Keith Miller, that's not a common name. That's crazy. Just voting against that shit. Alright, I'm pretty done. Yeah. I'm tired of looking at this stuff. I think we got through all the important stuff, though.